second chair is Dr. T.R. Saini and co-chair Dr. Kamlesh Dashora. And our next keynote speaker is Dr. Jaya Ramapuram. I would like to invite Dr. T.R. Saini and Dr. Kamlesh Dashora on the stage. Now, I would request Dr. Rizwan Khan, Principal at SKICON, to greet Dr. T.R. Saini and Dr. Kamlesh Dashora with a bouquet.
इधर थोड़ा सा
Dr. T.R. Saini, he is retired professor and former head. He have academic and research experience of 41 years. He has guided 110 PG students and 4 awarded PG students and 5 ongoing. He had worked for 2 years as Dean Faculty of Pharmacy RGPV Bhopal. He had worked as Chairman Board of Studies GSITS Indore. He had served as Trustee Provident Fund GSITS Indore. He had worked as Member Executive Council in RGPV Bhopal. Dr. Kamlesh Dashora, he is Head of Department and Institute of Pharmacy, Vikram University, Ujjain. He has completed his PhD from Institute of Pharmacy, Pandit Ravi Shankar University, Raipur. Now, I would request Dr. T.R. Saini to throw the light on the topic and invite Dr. Jaya Ramachandra on stage.
Very good afternoon to all of you. I am delighted to be here in this post-lunch session of this very useful conference on recent advancement in translational research and molecular medicine. And we are fortunate that as we have seen in the pre-lunch session, we had 2 galaxies of very renowned scientists with us. So in this session also we have many more great scientists, and the scientist who is going to be, I am going to invite, is a very say renowned in the field of drug discovery and drug delivery systems. Dr. Jaya Ramapuram Babu, he is going to deliver a very interesting say lecture which is going to cover a very say advanced field in the drug delivery technology. It is not much related with the molecular medicine, but Dr. say Babu, after doing his graduation, post-graduation and PhD from India, from Banaras Hindu University, then he served industry for 3-4 years as a R&D manager in GlaxoSmithKline. Then he went abroad for his postdoctoral research and did lot of very advanced research in the drug delivery area there, and he became professor at Auburn University and presently serving as a senior professor at that university. And he and his team has done a lot of say advanced work in the drug delivery systems, varied categories of the drug delivery system, starting from the oral drug delivery to topical drug delivery, nasal drug delivery, injectable drug delivery, and his one of the areas of expertise is long-acting drug delivery system, specifically injectable drug delivery system. And the topic which he has opted to be delivered upon is one of the most advanced drug delivery technology, which is very much in tune with the theme of the today's say conference, that is recent advancement. Long-acting injectable products, they are already available in the market for decades, but the technology which he has tried and he has come with many successful products using that technology is the 3D printing technology. And all the undergraduate students, they would also get lot of information from today's lecture, which is going to be delivered by such a renowned expert. So, though the topic which was communicated to you was titled little bit specifically, but looking into the audience, the undergraduate students, they are also sitting here, and some PG students, they are also here in other specialization. So he has opted to first introduce what is 3D printing technology and how it is useful in the drug delivery area. How drug delivery systems, they can be fabricated using this particular technology. 3D printing technology of late has become very popular in the personalized medicine because the other technology, they have some limitation. But when it comes to precision drug delivery system or the personalized, individualized, say drug delivery system, so this 3D printing technology has got that potential to personalize the drug delivery to meet the requirement of an individual, say, patient. So the topic is going to be very contemporary and very, very useful to specifically to the students. So without wasting much time, I invite Professor Babu to start with his lecture on say current trends in the 3D printing drug delivery systems. Dr. Babu, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very humbled and honored to be a speaker here. Thank you for the invitation, Dr. Trivedi sir, and all the organizers of this conference. I'm very happy to be here, and this afternoon I'm going to talk about something Dr. Saini has introduced me already, something different from other two eminent speakers spoke in the morning. So I'm not going to talk about any in-depth molecular mechanisms of action or anything. I'm going to give an overview about the current technologies that are going to be the market. So afternoon, you all had good lunch, and I'm hoping I can keep you awake. So I'm going to briefly touch upon the technological aspects of 3D printed drug delivery systems. A couple of disclaimers here. I'm not expert any means how to design a 3D printer. I'm also not an expert how to design the software for a 3D printer. I'm a user of the 3D printer and make use of 3D printer for drug delivery applications. So 3D printer is 3D printers are designed for various numerous applications. So one of them is the drug delivery applications, and in our lab we are doing some research in utilizing the 3D printer for making the dosage forms. And I worked in industry and worked in several drug products like tablets, capsules, injectables, etc. Launched around nearly 32 products, doing the tech transfers and scale up and launch of the products. So, and also have done a lot of research and published hundreds of papers in drug delivery research area. And those are all conventional. You people already know about those dosage forms for reading from textbooks and review papers. 3D printing, I thought, is going to be something new and upcoming, and we are doing some research in this area. Therefore, I thought talk about something different in the area of pharmaceutics. So I need to learn how to change the slides here. Is the page down, page up? Let me try. Okay, I'm safe. So 3D printed dosage forms. If we can, as you can see from the cartoon here, image here, if a 3D printer can be made use of printing the toys, why can't we make the drug delivery systems? or drugs. So the printer can be very inexpensive to, can be very expensive also depending upon the intended purpose of its application. So when you imagine how the 3D printer looks like, it is like any other printer that you print paper, right? You got inkjet printer, laser printer, color laser, etc., right? Same thing here, but it provides a third dimension. Now when you talk about conventional printer, it's a two-dimensional, right? So three-dimensional means it has got depth as well as another factor here. That's why it's called as 3D printer. So 3D printing has been very successful in terms of introducing a product into the market. We already have a tablet which is available in the market, Spiritam, which is levacetyram anti-epileptic drug, which has been launched in 2015. So that is the motivation for continuing this research in this field. I do not want to press the wrong button and get into trouble. Okay, 3D printing is a layer by layer, automated and digitally controlled process in terms of creating the structures, basically. The structures can be dosage forms here. So it can produce structures for individualized needs, and the preparation or creation of structures can be instantaneous. As you know, you can print 50 pages per minute or 100 pages per minute. As fast as that 3D printer can also print structures pretty quickly. So these 3D printed missions can be expected in the coming future in the compounding pharmacies. So if patient needs something at a particular dose, that dose can be printed using the 3D printer. So how it works? So it's as you can see from the picture there, that the material is deposited layer by layer. How the layers are held? There is a kind of a resin. You can use a photopolymerization resin, or you can use some kind of binding agent, like using the tablet binder, use the binding agent, right? So you can use a binder or a resin, or you can use some active energy like laser to keep the particles together. So you can prepare the solid structures. In terms of kind of structures that you prepare, print, numerous possibilities or numerous infinite number of possibilities in terms of how do you define the structure of a object that you print. Something like say a tablet with a kind of honeycomb structure, which is impossible to print by conventional manufacturing, right? So such kind of structures can be printed using the 3D printer. So technologies are getting, these technologies are getting much more attention than ever before in terms of number of publications which are appearing in the literature, as you can see from this histogram. And these 3D printing technologies can be broadly classified into two types. So the technologies, there are 9 boxes here. The technologies which are shown in slightly blue color, they are called as deposition-based technologies. And other blocks which are shown in pink color, they are stimulus-triggered technologies. The difference here is that the deposition occurs, the material can be in the form of a liquid, or even it is in the form of a solid. Basically, the printer cartridge is filled with a gel material. Why gel? You know, to regulate the flow. If it is too liquidy, then there will be dripping, right? So use a gel kind of material and extrude it. So that's why it's called as deposition-based technology. So then you can also use the direct solid powder which is filled in the cartridge. Now, conventional printer got the powder, right? The printer ink, right? So same thing, like same idea here. So you got fused deposition modeling and direct ink writing and inkjet printing. Inkjet printing actually is the liquid ink, right? So same thing can be done for printing the tablets as well. So you deposit a layer of a tablet powder and deposit layer of ink, and layer by layer you alternate. There are 2 cartridges. One is filled with a solid material, another cartridge is filled with a liquid ink. So their successive layers are deposited so that finally you get the structure made, as shown in the previous slide cartoon. So then you can electrospinning, make the filaments. Filaments are deposited into a compact structure as shown. And we got other technologies based on the stimulus trigger technologies, uses some active energy, as shown in the diamonds there. And we got some kind of active energy like thermal or piezo electric actuator, or you can use a laser beam. Everywhere you can see laser beam as the actuator to induce the binding of the material onto the surface. So evolution of 3D printing in pharmaceutical, the wave of 3D printing came in the pharmaceutical world in the recent years, last decade. It is emerging, as we have seen previous histogram as well. The 3D printing market will be worth of $32.78 billion by 2023, and currently 15% of the market capital is taken up by medical device production. When you talk about the delivery systems, it's upcoming. But 3D printed medical devices, which are already available in the market, I have some examples that I would like to show you in the next coming slide. So the first product is approved by FDA, product called Spiritam, contains levacetam, anti-epileptic drug, which is available as a fluffy, porous tablet, which is orally disintegrating. Epilepsy patient require immediate absorption of the drug to relieve the symptoms, right? So therefore, the powdery material, basically the tablet disintegrate in no time and provide the drug for absorption, starting from the mouth until it reaches to the stomach and provides the instantaneous drug levels in the body. So that is the benefit of 3D printed tablet. And then subsequent years, you got okay, I need to introduce the term here, FDM. Previous slide I said FDM, a different type of technologies. One of the technologies is fused deposition modeling. Basically, it's solid deposition which is held by the binding agent here. So, then I got dual tablets, meaning I can introduce multiple drugs in the same tablet. And subsequent to that, there are alternative technologies to FDM have emerged, like selective laser sintering, SLS, and binder jetting and direct powder extrusion are other technologies which are on the rise currently. And there is another trend called 4D printing. 4D printing, as the time is additional, in addition to depth, time is also taken as a factor here. How fast you can print is called 4D printing. So volumetric printing and artificial intelligence have been integrated to make it even more sophisticated, and so such technologies can be expected in the future. So the different kind of structures. This picture shows a porous tablet, as shown in the picture. This is only possible by 3D printing, not by conventional manufacturing. You can there is osmotic tablet which can be printed, vaginal suppository. You got anti-acne nose patch and microneedle finger splint, and drug-eluting stents is a huge area currently drug-coated. Basically, stents are made with 316L stainless steel, and the surface of the cage is basically printed with a drug-embedded polymer material. So you typically use anti-infective agents and anti-inflammatory agents to prevent infection or inflammation at the injection site. So this cage is coated with polymeric material, and likewise you got drug-eluting cages for bone repair. In case of bone fractures, normally we use the metal rods, which are heavy, which can be printed as a 3D printed rods containing the porosity to reduce the weight of the rods, so that also promote inside bone growth. So solid metal rods have got certain disadvantages, heaviness, as well as there is nothing to support inside, right? So if you have porous stainless steel material, which is otherwise impossible to achieve, 3D printer enables that kind of structures, and then you can deposit as a pharmaceutical scientist, you have the ability to deposit the drugs onto the surface of these implants by spray coating or other techniques. So drug-laden scaffolds and surgical meshes and patches, wide variety of structures, and these are basically, as you can see from this table, that some of these products are already available in the market. They have been approved by FDA. We got spine truss system and vertebral body replacement system. Normally vertebral bodies are replaced normally by the bone graft from the self or from the donor. So such things can be which has been approved in 2017 actually, vertebral body replacing system. And we got titanium cervical cage and 2D bridge fixation system and limb salvage system and teeth aligners. So these are the devices, medical devices, which have been already approved in the recent years. Like you see, anywhere from 2016 to 2021, there are around 6 products which have been approved by FDA. So potential benefit of, I already said many of these benefits, but some of them just to summarize here. There is improved adherence to the medication intake because patients get the customized, personalized dosage forms, and actually these dosage forms doesn't require water to swallow a tablet, for example. You can make mouth disintegrating films or tablets which is easy to take so that people can carry with them wherever they go. And for example, somebody is sitting in a conference, they need to take a tablet. Oh, I don't have water, let me get water bottle. Then they tend to forget. So like those cases, basically no water required to swallow a tablet. So tablet basically get crumbled, powdered, and you swallow the powder. So that's why you get improved adherence and improved drug effectiveness via targeted drug delivery systems. Basically, you make you print a structure and inject or implant at the desired location of the body, and enable combination products to manage chronic diseases. Conventional dosage forms like tablet contain sometimes 2 or 3 drugs together. There will be drug interactions and very difficult to develop combination products. 3D printing have literally no drug interactions because in the same tablet you can make the compartments. I'm going to show you a picture in the next slide. So basically you can prevent the drug interactions. You can print up to even 5 or even 10 drugs together, still like a single tablet, as long as the dose is not much. So there drug interactions can be prevented, and especially for managing chronic diseases like cardiovascular diseases. Cardiovascular diseases, for people having hypertension, they may also have propensity or vulnerability for stroke, and you need to have medication for controlling hypertension, stroke, and other cardiovascular complications. So you need multiple drugs which can be put in the same device, which is going to be reality, hopefully going to be reality in the future. Appropriate doses for children and patients with kidney disease, because some of the drugs like fentanyl, the therapeutic window for fentanyl is very narrow. It can, small alteration in the dose can kill the patient. The dose has to be given according to the body weight. So typically tablets are available in fixed doses like 100 mg, 200 mg, 300 mg, like that. But if you need something in between, like according to the body weight, so then you need to break the tablet, and which is a difficult thing. So therefore, you can 3D print on demand, personalized, then you can dispense whatever the dose that is required by using the 3D printer. So improved pediatric and geriatric adherence. People cannot swallow tablet, don't want to swallow tablet, unable to swallow tablet. So those cases, you can make the orally disintegrating films or tablets which are easy to swallow. So that is an advantage of 3D printing. So appropriate drug release based on individual anatomy and metabolism is kind of on demand, personalized, as we discussed earlier. So those are the things. I'm going a little bit basic for the benefit of B.Pharm students. Forgive me if you already know all this information from existing literature. I thought I will just give a brief introduction before I go into what I do in my lab. So as you can see from the structure here, you got multiple tablets put together as one tablet. Multiple drugs put in, actually multiple tablets you can say. So, or printlets are, tablet term is being replaced by printlets because these are being printed. So you got say 3 printlets are put in one unit. Basically, upon administration, this unit get disintegrated or split into 3 different printlets in the body and keep releasing the drug as shown in the picture. You got captopril, nifedipine, and glipizide. And so normally chronic diseases, they are usually interrelated, associated. People having hypertension also may have diabetes, and you have multiple drugs. So those cases, this kind of technologies would be beneficial if they come to the reality. So one drug which is already available in the market, levaceturam, I already informed you, but other drugs are close to getting approvals. These are in clinical trials currently. We got aripiprazole and theophylline and paracetamol. These are all the drugs you can expect to see in the near future as in the form of a tablet. So in our lab we use bioprinter for making the 2 types of dosage forms. So one is orally disintegrating films. Another dosage form that we make in our lab is implantable, injectable implants. So we got a single printer with different print heads. It appears too many, but actually so just one printer. You can replace the print head and make structures, whatever the structures that you want. So thermoplastic extrusion means you basically melt drug and polymer together and extrude through the print head. So which is easy and convenient in terms of one-step process. Basically, there are not too many excipients. So you got the drug and the polymer. You can extrude it. And likewise, you got the pneumatic and syringe-based mechanical extrusion, meaning that you make the gel containing drug and polymer together. You can use a solvent, compatible organic solvent, and you can make a gel and extrude through. Basically, attach a gel in the. You can fill the syringe with the gel and attach to the print head and print it whatever the structure you want. So then you got electromagnetic droplet printing. That is another technology, another print head that we have, which can be filled with a liquid ink, like inkjet printing. Idea is inkjet printing. So the 4th one is selective laser melting, meaning this is not in our lab, but our collaborators at NCAM National Center, the National Center for Advanced Materials in Engineering. They make stainless steel structures for the bone support, and we collaborate and we deposit the drugs onto those bone structures. So since we collaborate, we utilize printer in the engineering as well. So I'm going to talk briefly about, I need to keep mindful of the time, and I did not track the time. Somebody need to remind me that I try, okay, try not to exceed the time.
10 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about 3 different scenarios or case examples here. I'm going to talk about oral dispersible films, and then I'm going to briefly mention about injectable implants, and then metal coated implants. I got 3 case examples and quickly go over those things. So oral thin films market is is worth of $6.6 billion, and conventionally these orally disintegrating tablets and films, about 40 to 50% of the drug tablet dosage forms are now converted to orally disintegrating tablets. Conventional manufacturing is very simple and convenient, but if you want personalized medicine, personalized dosage form, 3D printing is the way to go. 3D printing also can be as rapid as conventional manufacturing, and we already have one product which is available in the market, which is a example. So we can expect more and more amount of orally dispersible dosage forms can be seen in the market. So the medicines belonging to the category of pain management, pain medicines, and You got medicines to manage the neurological disorders like anti-Parkinson drugs and anti-Alzheimer's drugs, then opioid drugs and medicines for preventing nausea and vomiting. Anything that requires instantaneous drug action, 3D printing is desirable, or oral disintegrating tablet is desirable. So, so the information is very obvious. The no water required and no chewing required. These are not chewable tablets. So take the medication in the form of a film. You got a Listerine film, right, in the mouth freshener film. So same thing here. You take a film, basically thin film containing the loaded with the drugs, which can be 3D printed very rapidly. You can make prototypes pretty fast. Several units can be printed in a minute. So the output can be much faster. So such dosage forms, just place it in the mouth. They are not meant for mouth absorption. They are meant for swallowing, easy swallowing. They are not. They can be used as sublingual, but primary intent is to basically to swallow for oral absorption. So in terms of printing process, you decide which type of dosage form or which type of structure you want to print. Then there are 4 Ds here: decision, design, develop, and deliver. Basically, in terms of the design, basically what type of printing technology you want, you would like to, what you have, what capability you have, and what type of materials which are required. So those are decided at the design stage, and then you develop it. And there is not pharmaceutical development for 3D printing medicines is very simple and straightforward. That is another benefit of 3D printing. It's not like there are complex processes involved and it takes several months to years to develop the stable product. That is not the case here. So the process is very simple in terms of coming out with a prototype or formulation composition can be done pretty quickly. Then deliver, deliver means talking about personalized doses or personalized structures and shapes that you can decide. So I'll skip this one. So fabrication of orally disintegrating films as shown in the picture here by extrusion based printing. It could be either inkjet printing or conventional syringe-based printing, where you extrude the gel in the form of structures, and which can be done depending upon the capacity of the printer. You can print on a large scale as well. So first case study, I got 3 examples. I have a couple of slides for each example. I just want to share what we do in our lab. We are repurposing this printer. Basically, this printer is meant for biological application, printing the tissues and organs. Like this printer is capable of printing any kind of body structure, like cornea, heart, or muscle, or any kind of tissue can be printed using this. And we are repurposing. As you can see, there are 3 print heads. The center one is a thermoplastic cartridge. Other 2 print heads belong to the extrusion of gel extrusion and liquid extrusion. So we have done some printing using this machine. So we used 2 different print heads to make the orally disintegrating films using the sildenafil as a model drug. So there are certain parameters which can be pretty quickly optimized, and then you can make it to run to make the films, and it's as simple as that. So there is some effort required in terms of optimizing the viscosity for the proper extrusion. As long as you are able to extrude it, printing is very simple and straightforward. These parameters can be fixed, and you can quickly make the films or units, dosage forms. So in terms of the material selection, you select appropriate polymeric material like cellulosic polymer or polyolon or carbohydrate polymer, whatever the polymer, to get appropriate gel matrix for the drug can be either dissolved or dispersed in the gel and extrude. So then you have certain optimization parameters for the printer itself in terms of printing pressure, temperature, density, nozzle diameter, etc. need to be optimized. Then you can start printing the film. So we printed films with different infill densities, meaning that you can introduce the porosity. CAD software basically helps in selecting whatever the structure you want. You can make it in the form of a circles or squares and star shape, any shape that you define by the CAD software. And so then you can print the structure accordingly using the printer. Then, as you can see, we made the placebo films using pullulan as the polymer. Pullulan, water, propylene glycol. There are only 3 ingredients here, the placebo films. You got different infill densities to introduce the porosity. And then you got monolayer film and bilayer film and multi-layer film, as you can see from the picture. Then we loaded with sildenafil and still able to maintain the structure. So the film weight is 150 mg. It contains 50 mg of sildenafil citrate. So meaning that the current Viagra dose is 50 mg tablet or 25 mg tablet. Such structures can be made, can be printed pretty quick. Then you might ask, why 3D printing? Quick absorption is the key here. Rapid disintegration, quick absorption, right? So that is the reason, like any drug molecule which require faster absorption or faster drug effect, you 3D print them. So I will skip this one. And see the rapid disintegration here, we're pretty fast. Within, even with multi-layer films, they all disintegrate within less than a minute. So that is the benefit of orally disintegrating films, and which is facilitated by 3D printing process. And the second case study, where we made stainless steel implants. I'm not going to bore you with this example, but all we have done here is the doctors basically require it is highly desirable the drugs need to be coated onto the surface of the stainless steel implant to prevent the inflammation and infection. So we have used meloxicam as the model drug here. And engineering school, they printed some solid implant structures for us made up of stainless steel. In pharmacy school, we coated the surface of the 3D printed implants with the drug meloxicam, which is basically spray coated onto the surface of the implant as shown in the picture. Then we measured the porosity of the implant, and then we measure the surface roughness of the implant to ensure that the drug is coated onto the surface of the stainless steel implant. So we did the spray coating containing meloxicam and PLGA, so with the average coating thickness of 500 microns. Then we studied the surface roughness of the implant. Implants are very rough in to begin with. Then when we spray some solution onto the surface, as you know, you can expect surface roughness is decreased. That is the indication that actually visually you will not be able to even see that the drug is deposited. So only way we know that the drug is there or not is to measure the surface roughness. That is the reason we measure the surface roughness to know that the drug is deposited. Of course, we also look at the weight gain of the implant because these are irregular structures. There is no way you can deposit the structures, deposit the drugs uniformly. So that's why we measure the surface roughness to know that the drug is deposited uniformly onto the surface. So as you can see from the microscopic image here, we measured the surface roughness and we measured RA value and versus RG value, which are not seen here. As you can see the distinct layer of the polymer which is deposited onto the surface in this case, and so that way we know that the drug is deposited as a uniform layer onto the implant. So the drug, because we used a biopolymer, as a result, as you can see, the drug is deposited, the drug is delivered, as you can see, for several days, up to more than 45 days, the drug is continuously delivered from the surface. By then, after the surgery, the wounds heal, and so the symptoms can be controlled. Inflammation symptoms can be controlled. So we did some in vitro assays to know what is going to be the fate of the implant in the body. We did some cell adhesion studies using osteoblastoma cell lines, U2, O2S cells, which are coated or uncoated. We use the blank uncoated as control, and then as you see that cell adhesion is promoted by. Actually, we got a unexpected good result here. We expected at least a similar non-inferior cell adhesion compared to the uncoated implant, but as to our surprise, we see that the polymer coating enormously promoted the cell adhesion, which is highly desirable. Cell adhesion is good and cell proliferation is good with the polymer deposited implant compared to uncoated implant. So likewise, we also did some kind of imaging study, fluorescence microscopy imaging studies. So here A, B, C, A is the uncoated implant, B is 5% melascum coated, and C is 10% melascum coated, and C is 20% melascum coated implant. As you can see, the compared to the conventional uncoated implants, the coated implants basically resisted the biofilm formation. Biofilm formation is a big issue with surgical wounds, and successfully the coated implants resisted the biofilm formation on the surfaces from the images. The final one example I have, and I will, there are 2 or 3 slides. So we did capsaicin loaded implants for the treatment of obesity. So capsaicin is which is a main component of the chili peppers, and bioavailability is very low. It's less than 5 to 10. Bioavailability is only 5% from the chili peppers. If capsaicin can be delivered into the body, which can burn the brown fat, actually in case of obesity, capsaicin targets the brown fat tissue. I'm not going to go to the mechanism, how capsaicin acts, etc. But our goal is to deliver the capsaicin in vivo into the blood circulation. Only way is to inject capsaicin, which is impractical, right? So we need to have a delivery system which can act on long term in the local area. We can target this capsaicin implants into the belly region. Say people with big belly like me, you can inject those capsaicin implants so that the capsaicin is delivered into the local region and burn the brown fat. So that is the reason capsaicin implants are 3D printed. Basically, we did an injectable implant. So basically, these are needle-shaped structures which can be injected. Normally, if you make a slabs, you need to perform the surgery and place them, which is impractical. So we made the needle-shaped implant. So then you see, 3D printer can print the structure as you see like a tower. I removed the video here. As you can see, you can build the structure, needle-shaped structure vertically. The print head starts from here and build the structure, and basically we melt the drug and polymer together, and then we have inside we can control the temperature. We got a cooling environment, refrigerated environment inside the printer, so that it can build a structure like a tower. So the advantage of 3D printing is, people might ask me, why can't we make a conventional needles? Why we need 3D printer? 3D printing provides the porosity for the implant, so that drug release can be modulated. So you don't need to play too much with the polymer. Basically, you can play with the structure so that you can modulate the drug release here. So we made different sizes, like different heights, like 5 mm, 10 mm, 15 up to 15 mm. We are able to make these structures, and these structures can be injected under the skin for the treatment of obesity. We have a patent pending based on this technology, and so this can revolutionize the world if this can be. It's already known. A lot of literature has been published how capsaicin works as an anti-obesity agent, but the challenge is how to deliver it. Basically, if you want to ask the patient, okay, take the chili peppers, they all know about it. You know the limitation also, it cannot be absorbed, and go and take the injection. How long a patient can be motivated to go and take the injection? Every day or every week, right? Capsaicin get cleared from the body pretty quickly. You need something long-term release, sustained release delivery system which can remain in the body for a long period of time and keep releasing the capsaicin. That is the reason we did the capsaicin implants. So we did some characterization studies to prove that there is no yeah, I'm wrapping up. This is the last slide, maybe one more slide. To prove that there is no drug interaction and between capsaicin and this, and then we got we confirmed the drug assay, make sure that drug is not degraded due to melting. We had to melt the capsaicin and polymer together to make sure that there is no chemical drug degradation and physical interaction with the polymer. The drug is intact and available for delivery. And we also developed capsaicin assay to separate the because we did the stability study, we had to show our assay method is stability indicating. Therefore, I'm showing that the method can resolve the degradation peaks from the main peak. So I'll skip this. We are able to develop a capsaicin delivery system by 3D printer, which has been releasing capsaicin for up to 6 months. But 180 days, still 75% of the drug is released, still drug is there in the implants. So it's, we are able to achieve long-term release capsaicin delivery system by using the 3D. We did not use too many polymers. We used one type of polymer and with the different infill densities and drug loadings. The next slide I'm showing the infill density. So using different infill densities, we are able to modulate the drug release as expected. This study is still ongoing, and so far we got pretty good result. Therefore, we plan to continue this study. So we also did the parallel stability study in the 3D printed implants, as the data shows that the implants are stable for 3 months because we use the thermal process. We want to prove that the drug is not degrading. So with this, I conclude. I want to acknowledge people who are working in the 3D printing in my area. Manjusha, Ishwar, and Noor and Chu. There are 4 people working in different areas of 3D printing. And I want to acknowledge help from past graduate students and postdocs who have assisted my laboratory in many ways, and got collaborators within the campus and outside the campus. I want to acknowledge help. I got Dr. Bodu and Dr. Tiwari who have been collaborating for a long period of time. With this, I'll be glad to answer any of your questions.
Comment a little bit on the pharmacokinetics. So with a lot of these 3D printed devices, you reached a very perfect steady state where it was very consistent over a long period of time, much more consistent than you would ever get from somebody taking a pill, which would seem advantageous, but on the other end, it often took a long time to reach that steady state. Can you comment on that? And
you mean the biphasic release that is shown in the...
So, yeah, if you go back like one slide, it shows the release over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the release over time, it reaches that very good steady state, but it's a little bit slow to get there.
Yeah, ideally we want to avoid the initial burst release, which is, we find it is impossible to achieve unless we do some kind of a coating on the surface. Our goal is to achieve the zero order release to have constant pharmacokinetics, but that is the limitation challenge that we are facing in terms of achieving such release. And only way to address this problem is deliver at a slow rate and inject multiple implants every month. If you inject one implant, we have not done that kind of study, and pharmacokinetics are yet to know, and we are seeking some kind of funding for the proof of concept animal studies to establish the pharmacokinetic profile of this implant. So that's a great question. Thank you very much.
I have a small question as well. So do we see any toxicity with any of these ink that you use for 3D printing? The resin that you use for 3D printing?
Actually, we used only this advantage of this method is it doesn't require any new materials to be added. Basically, you are using well-known approved polymers and acceptable organic solvents and approved drugs, and they are only making the structure. So here unless you use some polymer which is unknown and toxicity is not expected, but still we need to do some kind of proof of concept studies to show its steady state pharmacokinetics, as Dr. Scott asked the same question. So,
Yeah, one more question.
Yeah.
Do you have any specific regulatory requirement for 3D printed publication?
what requirements?
Any specific
Regulatory requirement.
Regulatory requirement in terms of intended dosage form, for example, say for example tablet. They will be looking at the materials that we use, and so some of the SLS type of printing uses some kind of a resin, photopolymer resin, which is not approved, so that it's very unlikely that the product can go to the next level for the regulatory submission. As long as we use the approved materials and approved drugs, and it should the process should go through go with the FDA approval like any other dosage forms. So it should be similar to conventional drug. Nothing is specific.
Hello. Yeah. One last question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see any change in the physicochemical properties of the drug during the 3D printing, because the drug is being exposed to very high temperature, if I'm not wrong?
Yes.
So,
The limitation of thermal extrusion
Yes.
is that the drug and polymer should be stable at a temperature where we melt it. So we not necessarily we melt it, we work at the glass transition temperature of the polymer. As long as the polymer or drug can withstand the temperature. For example, we did capsaicin. DSC shows that there is no physical interaction, there is no change in the crystallinity of the drug as well as the polymer, as shown by the data. And we also did the 3-month stability study to show, and we also developed the stability indicating HPLC assay to show if a drug has degraded to the related substances. We didn't find any evidence, and we got 3-month pretty good stability for the capsaicin implant. That doesn't imply that it's safe for other drugs as well. It depends
Yeah,
on the drug.
that's in fact very encouraging data. I did work with capsaicin, and I know it has certain stability issues. But if you're not finding any degradation issues, I think it's a good approach.
We have extruded it at around 100 degrees Celsius for capsaicin. It withstands the temperature. Like for example, we do all the cooking, right?
Yes.
Capsaicin is still there. We boil capsaicin chilies for hours, and still capsaicin is still there is a stable compound. At least capsaicin might degrade to or convert it to dihydrocapsaicin related substance, but not completely chemically unstable.
Sir, one more question. If there is any specific toxic effect, then how therapy will be terminated in this case?
Toxicity effect.
Patient-specific toxicity or any adverse reaction reported, because you are using implants for 180 days, and how therapy will be terminated?
These are injected under the skin. We are using bioresorbable or biodegradable polymers. They eventually get absorbed into the body. We are using, for example, here medical grade PLGI, which is already under clinical use in the.
If any particular drug reacted to a particular patient,
For drug, okay.
adverse reaction,
Drug.
how therapy will be terminated?
Even the dose dumping.
Yeah.
Okay, that case, the implant can be pulled out because it's still a solid structure is under the skin. So there are several depot injections which are available in the market. They are the gels basically. It is very difficult to remove the depot injections. But here we are talking about solid structures to be placed under the skin, and those structures are still there. For example, Norplant. Norplant is a implant which is made by non-degradable polymer to deliver etanogestrel, and after 3 years later, patient has to visit the clinic to get the residual implant to be pulled out. We can follow the same procedure here, but if there is no benefit is if there is no toxicity, you don't need to visit the doctor.
Any question from student side?
Sir, any adverse effect of the capsaicin which is present long time in the body?
Because it is held, and the capsaicin is held by the implant. It's not available for. It is released at a very, very slow rate. capsaicin is very highly safe compound. It's a chili material available in chili peppers. We are delivering at a very slow rate to burn the brown fat. So, therefore, capsaicin, even though it in the body, is not available for causing any toxicity.
But if we implant inside the body, if any hypersensitivity reactions or other reactions will be shown inside the body?
It is possible. It depends on the composition. If you are using already approved polymer, for example, PLGA is approved, PLA is approved, PCL is approved by FDA. If you use only all approved polymers, you do not expect to see any hypersensitivity reactions unless there is some foreign substance associated with it and impurities associated with it.
Thank you, Dr. Babu, for giving such an informative and very interesting lecture. All the undergraduate students will have definitely benefited from the concepts which he has enlightened to you all. So thank you, Dr. Babu, for giving such an in-depth overview on the 3D printing drug delivery technology. So with this lecture is concluded. Any student is having any further query, Dr. Babu would be available after this lecture for any interaction and for any research related problem also. Not only related with the 3D printing technology, but the other drug delivery systems also, because he has had a very vast experience on drug delivery, different type of drug delivery, formulation development and designing. So thank you once again, Dr. Babu, for delivering such a nice.